It says live on YouTube.
You're live.
Okay. I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Affordable Housing Community Equity Development Committee for a meeting that is our public hearing to go over the housing community development needs for fiscal year 2022 for community development block grant funding. So I'm just going to turn it over to Teresa Wellman, who is the Director of Community Development.
Chief of Community Development
Division?
Chief of Community Development.
Community Development Division. Teresa.
Good evening, everybody. If you could go ahead and put up there it is. Okay, well, the purpose of tonight's public hearing is all about the housing and community development needs for the Community Development Block Grant Program. Next. The things that we have to do tonight based on HUD requirements is we also have to highlight the accomplishments of the past year, tell you about what our estimate is for federal funds for 2022, talk to you about CDBG COVID, and then anyone who would like to chime in and make a recommendations or talk about what the needs are in the community, or how you think we should spend our CDBG money. There's time allocated for that. And then talk about the next steps in the budget and planning process for the Community Development Block Grant Program. Next. So the city has a document that we do for HUD every 5 years, and then we do one each year called a consolidated plan. And in that plan, there are, we have to establish goals on how we plan to use our CDBG money over 5 years. And basically there's housing goals, there's homeless goals, community development goals, special needs goals, and administrative goals. So I'm gonna talk to you right on the slide now. There are listed all the, what we did to try to meet our housing goals. And this year, the only one that we didn't reach at 100% was our owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program. And that's where we provide assistance to homeowners whose incomes are less than 60% of median. And the reason that we didn't meet the goal was basically because of the COVID. Typically, we exceed our goal, which is only 3, but we usually do about 6. And this year we did 2 because we had to stop the program because of the virus. So we also worked with the Bowman Community Development Corporation on their new project that's on the corner of West Washington Street and Clay Street, and they fill the 6 project-based Section 8 rental units that are available for veterans in Bowman Commons. Habitat for Humanity completed and sold 1 home in this program year for a total of 2 that we've had for the last 5 years. The Housing Assistance Trust Fund is providing settlement expenses for some families who purchased their homes in Homes at the Glen, which is a lease to purchase project. And the city's helping with up to $6,000 in settlement expenses. And we also, over the past year, worked with 6 other jurisdictions to develop an analysis of impediments to fair housing. So basically we met or exceeded all our goals except for the 1. Next. Now, these are our homeless accomplishments. Most of these accomplishments are done by the Lighthouse Shelter, and I'll just kind of let you read through there, but you can see that the homeless shelter is a very, very busy place, providing, they distributed 130,000 pounds of food to 900 households. So they do more than just provide shelter. They provide what we call homeless prevention services. And then they provide day services. So you can see that there's an awful lot of activity going on at the Lighthouse Shelter. Next. Our third goal, our goals are related to community development. And those relate to like working on fixing up facilities or providing public services. And we exceeded, in that section, we exceeded all our goals this year. Examples are, you know, city provided funds to the Housing Authority to upgrade its community center in Eastport and upgrade exterior lighting in Robinwood. We provided funds to the Center of Health, who served 1,700 individuals, along with OLA, who served 1,100 individuals. We provided some funding to OIC, which provides GED and computer training, Leston Tech and Restoration Community Development, both mentoring organizations, served a number of people in the Community Action Agency, which is our anti-poverty agency, served 174 individuals. This is the organization, one of the organizations that provides housing counseling and helps, and he has a home buyer training program and does credit repair. Next. Special needs is another category, and this is where we provide assistance to organizations that work with the disabled. And this year we provided funds to renovate 4 residential facilities that house 12 individuals with psychiatric disabilities. And this is Arundel Lodge, and that goal was met. Next. So that was all the money that we got for fiscal year 2020, regular CDBG money. Then when COVID broke out, we were given a grant by HUD, an additional $156,000 to provide money to organizations that were helping the community with COVID issues. And this is the list. So these just got started, and this is the list of who got how much money for what purpose. So Restoration Community Development is doing food assistance. The Housing Authority is doing prevention and protection. Leston Tech is doing food and prevention. Center of Health is doing food assistance. The White House is doing mental health assistance, and Arundel Lodge was doing prevention and mental health assistance. So the total for the COVID-1 grant was $156,651. Next. Jumping back to regular CDBG, in the upcoming funding round, we expect to get the same level of funding that we got in the previous year, which was $266,292. This CDBG program is primarily a capital program. It's not really for public services. So there's a statutory limit of 15% for public service programs. So the city only has about $40,000 for public service programs. The rest of it goes for capital projects like fixing up houses and things like that. And then we're allowed to take 20% for administration. We haven't in the past. We typically put that money into projects, but we'll see what happens this year with the budget. Next. We did get another batch of CDBG COVID-3 money. The amount that was awarded was recently just awarded as $272,000, and we're in the process of trying to determine how to use that money as we gather more feedback. Next. So I don't see that there's anybody on for public comment, so we can skip that. And just for the folks that are here, the next steps in the budget process are, we sent out the CDBG applications in October. We're having our public hearing now in November. In December, the applications will be due. Staff will review them and make recommendations. We'll invite people. We'll have another public hearing for if we decide to invite people in to make presentations on projects. We're not sure if we're going to do that again this year. And then we'll present the budget. Staff will make recommendations and then present the budget to the finance committee for inclusion into the city budget. And then we put all this information and all the projects that we selected in something called an action plan. And then that's available for public comment, and we'll have a public hearing on that. And we'll typically do that in April, and then in May we'll submit the action plan to HUD. The mayor will notify people in June of the award, and then in July, HUD will approve the action plan and then release the funds. So that's basically the process. Next. Nope, we're done. So that is the community development block grant process for fiscal year 2022. Anybody in the group have any questions? Okay, well, I'm finished.
Then do we need a motion to adjourn? It's just me, really. Who's a
Yeah, I
member?
guess.
You can vote. Oh, I move we adjourn.
All right. We'll see you guys at the task force whenever that is.
Whenever that
Okay. Thank you guys for doing this.